And Nick, you actually brought this up when you were talking about what you collected, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, but I tried to put a little bit of a spin on this. First off, why No Damage Ninetales? If for anybody who doesn't know, this is probably the biggest No Damage Ninetales collector out there. I'm sure he gets DMs regularly anytime one pops up on eBay or PWCC or whatever it is. So first off, why No Damage Ninetales? And second half of that, if you did have to pick another card to focus on like you do that, whether it's an error or not, what would that be?
Ooh, that second part's a tough one. As far as why No Damage Ninetales, that's just always had a special place in my heart. For whatever reason, I've always loved the Shadowless base set. That's always been by far my favorite set. And the No Damage Ninetales is the error within that set. So when I first stumbled upon that card really early on, like 2010, 2011, I found out about that card. And back then I was a sophomore, junior in high school. So really didn't have very much disposable income to spend on collecting Pokemon. It was more so all just buying and selling different collections. So at the time, I could really never afford one. I always really wanted one. And then fast forward a couple years, I was finally able to purchase my first copy of that card. Absolutely fell in love with it. I purchased a raw near mint card, graded it myself with PSA, turned into a PSA 7. And shortly thereafter, I actually stumbled upon a few different eBay auctions that were ending. There was a PSA 8 copy and then a PSA 6 copy. And that got me thinking that I wanted to try and build a whole PSA 1 through 10 set. At the time, I did not know that there was only one PSA 10 out there. So I was thinking of this goal, building the whole PSA 1 through 10 set. I bought those other two eBay auctions shortly after grading my PSA 7 copy. And then Gem Mint Pokemon Zach actually kind of got me started with my addiction to those cards. He had a few other lower graded copies, again, on eBay that I saw. I reached out to him, asked him if he had any other copies. He told me he had a few duplicate copies of like the 6, 7, 8 that I already had. And he gave me a really good deal on those ones. So I bought those ones off of him. And that just kind of snowballed into wanting to buy as many copies as I possibly could. And that continues to this day. I actually, I just bought my another copy at CollectCon Long Beach, which was really cool to be able to buy one in person. Paid a little bit more than I would have online, but it was cool to meet the guy in person and have him sell it to me specifically. So
did he find you, or was he like, I'm finding the No Damage Ninetales guy, or was it just, hey, I've got these cards, and you go, that's the one? That's what
no, he was actually a vendor at the show, and he had it out on display. And I guess a few people told him that I was a big No Damage Ninetales collector. So towards the end of the second day of the show, he came up, found my booth, and we got to talking about the card and all of that. And I showed him some pictures of all the No Damage Ninetales that I had, and we ended up being able to work out a price point that worked well for the both of us, which was awesome, because originally he had a price really high. He had a price at, like, it's a PSA 2 copy. He had a price for, I think it was like $1,000. And when I saw that, I was thinking, we're not going to be able to make a deal. But I kind of got to talking to him, told him what I had paid recently for a few CGC 3.5 copies, and we ended up making a deal for paid him $400, which I paid $400 for CGC 3.5 copies. So right in that area, maybe a little bit more expensive, but I was happy to do that.
No, that's awesome. You take 60% off. That's I feel like that's probably more rare at events than it normally is, especially from a vendor. But I guess that shows you've hit the circuit long enough. You've got the negotiation skills for it. So
yeah, definitely.
So the harder part of the question, if you had to pick a different card to do.
If I had to do that with a different card, I think I would probably do it with I would honestly say my second favorite card is probably the Shining Gyarados from Neo Revelation. Absolutely love the artwork on that card. So I guess that would be my second choice. something surprising to a lot of people is I'm really not a big error collector. Outside of the No Damage Ninetales, I'm really not big into errors. That's really the only error that I really do like. So if I couldn't do the No Damage Ninetales, I think it would be a horde of Shining Gyarados.
I love that. I would love to meet a Shining Gyarados collector and watch that mountain climb that they probably have had to go through just to get them all, if they're recent. That's it's definitely one of the very first cards it was the very first card that I graded, was a first edition Shining Gyarados, actually. So for my childhood collection, came back a PSA 9, and to this day, like you said, one of the coolest arts out there. And I want to say the very first one with a human on the actual art. I could be wrong about that, but I think I remember reading that maybe.
That could be true.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other ones.